I've got a question. This last place. Prophet seems to want to.
I got something real quick.
Okay.
Yes or no? So pretty easy. Should we posture aggressively towards the north, or let them somebody was saying earlier, just kind of beat their heads against the wall, hating us, because they care a lot more about the situation than we do. But should we posture offensively or try and not piss them off?
This is Profit. I say we let them do what they want. If they feel it, they'll get more attention and more of a reason to fight us if we give them that reason. If we just ignore them, they'll fucking implode essentially. If you don't give them any attention. Honestly, they're going to attack us. I talked with Takeshi. He said he was going to attack us when sieges start because he's just a dickhead like that. It is what it is. Some people are like that. It's fine. It'll be fun, I'm sure. If that day comes and we have a city of our own, we're going to defend and watch them break themselves upon our defenses. And he can keep on attacking as much as he wants and get frustrated. And if he wants to focus on us primarily and just ignore all the other factions out there that are looking for new territory, then he can go right ahead.
To add on to that, Jay, this is Dutch. I was the original one who wanted to do just that, where we let them kill themselves, basically, because their entire clan, as far as I've looked into, it's basically collapsing apart because, not to name a specific clan, but they were going to leave until they, DG and all them declared war. So I think that shows that, hey, that'll work, and I don't know about it, but there's quite the change of heart in someone else who just answered, comparing to that situation of what you want to do.
My answer to the same question, I think, by the way, I think it's a very, very intriguing one because our stance is going to determine basically our entire future, right? If we lay claim to just a handful of cities, or if we go and be as bold as to say we lay claim to the entire empire, or something in between. It's very, very important. And I think that what is often underestimated is the power of a symbol. If we were to say publicly to everybody, hey, we do not claim any of the lands except for 2-3 cities that used to belong to the empire. All the others are open. You can just take them, do whatever you want. Other people are going to plan accordingly, and they're going to try to take them. But if we simply say, hey, we stand firm, we are going to take the land that is rightfully ours, and probably the lands that were not for the proconsuls that left. So let's say there were proconsuls that seceded from the empire. They had their land that they were assigned at that time. They probably want to continue at the same cities, we can assume. To a limited extent, we can say, hey, we're going to take most of the land that's supposed to be ours. And people will, maybe there are some people that will try to fight us anyway, but it helps so that they don't plan for it. They're not going to try to take the city as much. They'd rather go somewhere else or distribute their territories a different way because they think that they're going to face opposition. And, all right, well, they should go through the path of least resistance, right? So I think that it's very important that we do not proceed too much. We can't just give up all of our land. We need to put up a fight, and having more land not only helps us economically, but also helps with recruitment. People want to be part of an empire that is strong and large. If we just allow ourselves to collapse into the corner, we will fade into obscurity. I do not want that to happen. I want empire to have a rigid, solid stance, have territories that we can claim that are undisputed, but we will claim as many as we can as long as it's strategically viable. And that is my answer.
Can I?
All right.
Thank you to all three of you.
Does that answer your question?
Sure does.
All right. Thank you. Last place. You can ask your question now. Apologies.
All right. Oh, no problem. All right. At the end of the day, I don't care about the Northern Empire or any of these other things because that's not really what's at question when we come to this election. It's not about our alliances or any of that crap because at the end of the day, this is a game and we are a clan. What is more important is this vote will determine the structure of the clan. Are we going to be a democracy or republic, or are we going to be a more traditional clan that you find in other games, which is what Prophet seems to want? So, in what way does structuring this clan as it currently is, with it being a republic with a senate, how does that benefit us gameplay wise over being a traditional clan? I guess that would be for Dutch and Cronus.
All right. Well, my stance at the moment is that the Senate shouldn't really just be full of whoever it is. Like, how I plan to use the Senate is that it's more like a commanding council kind of thing and allows for any suggestions that they overhear and that kind of stuff to be passed. And honestly, it just makes it easier if the leaders have the responsibility to delegate all kinds of, recruitment, equipment, all of that. And it allows them to give suggestions from what they learn along the way, because I for sure learned stuff throughout this, like all these cool suggestions about adding roles for helpers, all those other good things. Like, I think it'd be really good if we also build upon that and allow both of these issues with the Senate and all that to just sort of become one great solution to it by just making it for only leaders and allowing it to be like sort of a commanding council. Does that answer it?
In a way, Cronus, are you answering through text or?
What
Cronus, are you there?
If you don't mind me asking, Prodigy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you ask that
Oh
again?
yeah, I'm here.
I said, what are you confused about? Like, what did you not answer fully?
Well, it's just I don't understand how.
Oh no, I was just referring to something I said earlier. Sorry.
I don't understand how having a Senate structure helps us in regards to, because we can easily make the decision amongst ourselves. Okay, we own this territory. We want this territory. Hey, let's group together. Let's take this territory. You don't need a Senate vote or any other crap like that. We just talk, and if we want to do it, we do it. It's a game.
Okay, yeah, no, Proj. I think that's what's confusing about how I'm saying things. The Senate is not like a Senate. How I'm gonna restructure it, I just have to refer it to as a Senate because that's what it currently is. Like, don't think of a Senate of how I want to implement it as a Senate. I just have to call it a Senate because that's what it is currently. It's not something else. And if I try to say it's something else, it comes off a bit weird and maybe even confusing. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So,
Yes.
like the channel Senate, like that's basically a relic from the old Empire. We're in the middle of restructuring, so like we love to hear
Yeah.
people's input on how to restructure.
Listen,
we're in the middle of.
Just as a general rule of thumb for like people that are new, how it was structured in the past, it wasn't like a Senate waiting for a week to vote on something. If we're gonna attack this or do this or whatever, it was more of a legislation kind of body where we pass legislation and what would go on in the clan, and then the Imperator was the elected official that would have full say of like battle tactics and delegations and stuff like that during like wartime. That's why it's called an Imperial Republic, not just a republic. That's just how it was set up in the past. Obviously, we're here today because it worked to an extent, but it didn't work how we wanted it to. So now we're merged into one clan and should have help with more centralization. I'm going to pass this on to Cronus because he never got to answer the question, but that's just how it was before.
Mm-hmm. So the question is about the role that the Senate should play, right? So I think that the Senate is important in that it creates a group of people that have passed like a certain level of security clearance, right? And those people are going to have access to classified information that the general public does not. That's the main purpose of the Senate, right? Because obviously we don't want our war plans to be out in the open. We don't want, all of the foreign entities to see what we're doing and all the rationales behind it, because we have a public and a private, set of strategies, right? So so the Senate is for those people that are very active, that are willing to give advice and counsel, and also to make decisions as a group whenever a discussion has to be made. So I mean, even as an imperator, we still need to have input from others, and I'm willing to delegate and to defer to, um, you know, basically specialists in different fields as needed.
All right, thank you.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
So basically, are you guys saying the Senate is just like your advisors rather than any sort of actual position of power?
Currently it's nothing. It's just the people who were here before from when it got dumped. Um,
Okay.
yeah, that's like basically up to the next imperator. That's essentially what we're voting on is how we want to
Well, then
structure the
that's what
plan
I'm
moving forward.
asking. That's what I'm asking the candidates. Then are you planning to have them be just advisors with not really any special privileges over voting or anything like that?
So if it helps, I do plan to be somewhat loose with my appointments of officials. So in that we have goals that we agree upon and a general strategy in which we're going to do it, but I'm going to leave it up to those individuals to act as they want. So it's not. So it doesn't mean that just because the imperator holds authority that nobody else is able to do anything. It just means that we have to be in agreement in the way that we're going to do it. So let's say like foreign ambassadors or the legates, they can make whatever strategic decisions they want, and they will have their own authority to command. So let's say in the army, or to make choices in representing us to other factions. Right? So yeah, so that's the role that I have for the Senate, to discuss all of that. But yeah, ultimately not to have the votes, but I want to offer votes on specific issues to the people, and let them decide instead of just this group of oligarchs.
Prophet, what's your take on that?
I'm sorry. I was. Can you repeat the question one more time, please?
Just what do you have planned for the so-called Senate? Do you want them to be just advisors and that's it, or like what do you plan to even have for that?
No Senate. If people want to bring up a suggestion or an idea, just ask. Just put one in. Anyone can have a say, and if you played another game and have like an idea that works, and just bring it up to the leader or anyone that's like up there in the positions and say like, hey, can you guys try this? Or and we'll look at it and I'll be like, yeah, that's actually a pretty good idea. I mean, like some people were saying, I would rather do a more traditional sense of a clan. I mean, a lot of clans do that across a bunch of games and you work. So
Makes sense. And Dutch,
Does that answer your question?
yeah, I just wanted to get all three perspectives. If Dutch here?
Touch. I guess not. If you'd like to write up the question and send it to him in PM, I'm sure he'll respond.
All right, and then just a follow-up quick question. It's
He did say his mic was broken.
oh, okay.
Ah,
He
wait.
agreed.
So is he listening? Oh, okay.
1 2 1 2. Can you hear me, boys?
There we go.
There we go. Okay, but no, Bolton, I answered that. Like, are you talking about a specific thing about the Senate? Because I think I answered that with Prodigy.
Just like what do you want to do with them if you become Imperator? Like, are they gonna be figures of authority, or are they just gonna be somewhat of just like an informant or something of that line?
Well, okay, Walton, the thing I'm gonna do with the Senate is that it's only gonna be leaders, and like it won't be a senatorial kind of thing. Like it's just gonna be named Senate. Like don't draw any conclusions of it's a Senate, it must do this or that. But basically, the Senate will be leaders, and the Senate will basically be chat, like a little chat and all that, or they can also discuss things, leadership stuff, and give suggestions from what they hear about the other players, not some random people who just pay or something like that. Does that make
So
sense?
the competent leader type
Yeah,
of the
because
clan.
I think, rewarding leaders of being able to have their fair say of what they overhear and give their own little interpretation to it as well is a good idea. Just completely barring people out from having that sole responsibility from, like, being able to access that would be a little bit ineffective.
Right. Okay, so that answers everything. I just want to throw one more question out there. If all of you couldn't vote for yourself, I'm talking to just the 3 candidates, who would you pick?
Prophet.
And Prophet, who would you pick?
For the Senate?
For the Imperator.
Oh.
Yeah, if you
If
like
you couldn't
couldn't
choose
vote.
yourself.
Yeah.
Jess.
Goodness.
He's not a candidate.
Stop dodging the question, Prophet. Answer.
Fuck. Cronus.
Cronus, who would you pick?
I'd have to say Prophet, but I think that Dutch would also do a good job.
Alright, that answers all my questions.
All right. Does anyone else have a question before I close things out? Okay, we've now been going for almost 2 hours. I expected this to go for an hour. Thank you guys for sticking around. I know it's been a while and it's been a lot. It's been politic heavy, but it's been fun actually. I've enjoyed everything. I hope you guys have too. We'll have another one of these in a month, and a lot of things will probably look different by then. The votes will be on the 1st. So there'll be 24-hour vote. We'll decide the method of voting between now and then. And if you guys have any questions about anything, the voting process, or how this works currently, or any questions regarding the old faction that was here, the old empire, whatever, feel free to ask. You know, I still have the job for a couple days, so I'd like to do something with it if you'd like to have any questions answered. But again, thank you all. Make sure to, if you guys want to, you can join your own VCs and start doing bandit hunting, looting, whatever, or wildlands. But this is concluded. I appreciate you guys. And yeah.
Yeah, there was no need to mute anybody. That was great.
Long live the Empire.
Right,
Yeah, thanks everybody. That was
Ave.
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 I just have a quick thing to ask everyone. I think I'm going to the desert. So who else wants to join?
I'm in.
Just all
yeah, you.
That's all.
I'm gonna create
Come on,
the,
move forward. Go,
I'm
my child.
making a desert VC right now.
Yeah, just talk about the desert. Where's the desert VC? What the hell?
We gotta make it right. There.
I'm gonna make the.
Oh, it's in the other Discord, isn't it?
I'm probably gonna be in here, so. Or not.